Hello. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook, and maybe LinkedIn. I'll try to finish everything in 10 minutes so my assistant reminded me can be uploaded on LinkedIn. Hi, my career seekers. Have you ever felt nervous, uncomfortable, having that challenge of having that confronting conversation? How do you really deal with it? And this week, we had a really challenging confrontation, the hardest conversation in life. And we may have to go through the legal way for this one. So I'm really talking from my own experiences and drawing upon all the things that I've learned for this week. And let's talk about topic today, 3 tips on handling confrontation at work. Before I get started, I have created a dream career starter kit from my almost 6 years experiences working with hundreds of transitional career seekers, or whoever you are, if you are looking for the right career status for you to actualize it. There are 5 tips as a taster how to get started. It's free for now, for limited time. So the link is down below. You can click it and let's get started. So this week, it's really a personal experience. We have to go through a very confrontational conversation, which eventually now led to probably legal resolution. It's one of the hardest because my personality, I always like to treat things harmoniously. And if I can avoid confrontation, I would always avoid it. And this is unavoidable because so this person we talked to had late payment, refused to pay, and refused to communicate. So we really have to go to him, and we went with all the documents and preparations and even some solutions, and he refused to communicate with us. Right. So there is a general checklist when you are dealing with confrontations, difficult conversations, complaints, disputes. There are a lot more detail in my course, module 6, actually. It's Mastering the Art of Communication. I'm loving that module. I basically listed everything out there. What are the things you can talk about? What are the templates? What are the sentences you can talk? But here I will give you a general process, a very quick general process, but of course there are more to the process, because the focus today is really the 3 tips, right? So the general process, of course, is first listen and prepare. You have to go in prepared, because confrontation, it's literally you standing up for your opinion, your point of view, and they're standing up for their opinion and point of view. And chances are it's going to be a little bit of battle, and you're not going to go onto a battleground with no preparation. So do listen, do your research, and do prepared. And when I say prepared, not as in you're really going to fight and then make a scene and then make it really ugly. I mean preparation for some possible solutions. What do they want? What could be some mutually beneficial things that can reach, and what can be things that you can compromise, what are the things they can compromise. Secondly, obviously, is to actively listen, show your understanding of their emotions, not just the work situation, not just the situation itself, but show your understanding of the emotional side of yourself and of that person as well. Showing your empathy. If they are really angry about misunderstanding, they are really upset, they are really frustrated, or if you are really frustrated, you can acknowledge that. And if you don't know how to express your feelings, check my previous video about expressing feelings at work. Show your empathy. This is really important. When I was working with a lot of client calls, when they call, when they're really upset, show that you really listen to them, show that you understand. It's frustrating sometimes. It truly is. And then work on the solution, right? So the next process is usually define the problem clearly. You want to make sure what is the outcome that both parties wants. What is it that you eventually want to get out of this through this difficult communication, through this emotional communication? You don't want to just stuck in the feelings and eventually got into the heat and having an argument. You want to have a solution, right? So define the problem clearly, and then obviously you can drag it back, talking to them. So I'm sure we want to reach a solution here and then move the topic onwards, and understanding some key factors or key persons in this decision as well, who can influence the decisions or what can change the decisions. And lastly but not least, solution. You are doing this to have a solution, eventually can move on. What are the actions you can do? So that's a general process. But today I want to share the 3 tips over the years, and especially what we use this week to soften the situation, to really, make everyone sit down, and then you can really have a conversation, eventually come to the solution. So the first one is break it down of the good and bad for the opposite party. So instead of just insisting your own point of view, approaching the solution, approaching the situation, or explaining the whole thing from their point of view. So very easy. For example, if your client are very upset, I'm just giving an example. If your client are very upset about their account wasn't being processed, or whatever error that's caused on their account, and then they're calling you, what you can say is, it sounds really frustrating. If I were you, I understand your feeling. Now, what we can do is, you still need to provide such and such information or such and such document, so that we can save your time to go ahead and process the account today, and then you can start trading from tomorrow. Or if you want to really complain about this issue, which you can, but it may cost you another 2 more days, or it may cost you such and such in your trades or in your potential gains from the financial services that we provide. So this is here. What's really important is the WIFM factor. What's that? WIFM. What's in it for me? So everyone will subconsciously thinking about, why do I want to do that? I'm so upset. What's in it for me? So when you think or talk in a way that you're talking from their point of view, it's much easier for them to understand. Yes, the damage has already been caused. Yes, it's already delayed. Yes, there's already some cost. But if we can do this, this is your benefit, this is your cost. And if we go that way, you will have a lot higher cost. You will have more lost, longer time. It's easier for them to understand. And it also shows that you know their point of view. But of course, if you break it down everything and they were right and you were wrong, or it's not going to help your point. Obviously, you don't want to go there, but it softens the argument a lot more. So again, another example that what we did this week is, we told him that if you refuse to pay your late fees, and we have to work extra hours to communicate with you, like today, a 2-hour meeting, that's going to generate more cost, because we are working more hours on this. And it's eventually, when you're going to pay the fee, it will be more fee for you. So of course, from your time and energy, from your course, you want to resolve this earlier as well. So that's another example. There you go. And it also softens your argument, like, I am right, this is what I want. And then the opposite is like, they are right, this is what they want. And then there's no solution. So that's tip number 1. And tip number 2, what I learned from a recent experience is, being a manager, being a business owner, being a person who has employees, there are times, we're all human, we make mistakes. And there are a lot of times my employee late make mistakes, or repeating the same mistakes that I mentioned many times. And I was always avoiding that confrontational question, that sharp question, that harsh question, trying to be nice or trying to avoid confrontation. But I realized it's actually really needed for the solution to generate a problem, to generate a solution for the problem, if you understand from that critical point. So what do I mean? Like, why did you make this mistake? Why was it late? Why you couldn't stick to my requirement again? I find this kind of question previously quite accusive, but now what I find out is, you have to ask on the critical right point to find out why they are able to understand, why they are always late, and maybe it's a technical problem. Maybe they didn't just really was stuck at certain point. Every week the same mistakes happen, and that is really making the communication opening up really quick and resolving the problem much easier nowadays. Otherwise, it just keeps happening and happening. And then on the surface, yes, we're having smooth communications, but the problem was never resolved. So sometimes you just have to ask the confronting questions. And thirdly, it's what I just mentioned, solution and action focused, solution oriented. So at the end of the day, no matter how you went through, what you went through, how emotional you are, how unfair it was for you or for the other party, you want to resolve this. You want to move on. You want to You want to do other things in your life and work, and you want to find a mutually beneficiary, the middle point that you can meet. So always end it or drive your communication with the solutions. We actually went in this week with that person with 4 solutions possible for them, and they can add their points and eventually reducing the cost for both parties and resolving this in a shorter time span. So that's what I mean. Go in with that. You may write it down. You may write an email. You may agree the time that we should double check. There should be the milestone. This is the measurement, and then walk away. With those 3 tips, I hope you can resolve this more efficiently, less emotionally, more smoothly, and it should be in the end strengthening your communication and relationship as well. It's not easy, no, very challenging, and very emotional as well. But I'm glad I went through that, and I'm much more comfortable with this kind of conversation nowadays. All right, so if you need help with your own career, do reach out. We do have a group. The ones in the group that you're listening now. If you have your own career, do reach out. I have a heart-to-heart chat, which is obligation-free, just to listen where you are, how can we help. We also have our career starter kit, which I created 5 basic steps before you started to having an idea how to get into your ideal career. The link is down below. It's free for limited time. And wish you all the best for your career and life. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.